All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fourth and Football podcast. Another season of football is come and gone. We got to watch that, in my opinion, amazing Super Bowl, the best Super Bowl I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hey,
The Philadelphia Eagles took down, dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's dive into that real quick, Wyatt. Let's go over some of the things we thought were kind of crazy to see and things we thought would happen.
before we get started on that, I just want to say I called it. Before the season started, I said Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you did. For sure, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, this is the worst the Chiefs have looked, I don't know how long. Not even this season. It seemed like in years.
I think that's the worst I've seen the Chiefs look ever in the last 7 years, probably.
We heard a whole bunch of praise for how good that O-line was, specifically Joe Tooney, how great he was sliding over to tackle, and they got killed. That O-line was demolished.
They did. I want to touch on that. The linemen, defense and offensively, won that game for the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
100%. I got some things here. The defensive line had 6 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and 17 hurries on 0 blitzes, on only 42 dropbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs. That allowed them to play cover 4 for over 55% of their snaps. I mean, that's a recipe for success, as we know.
Yeah, if you can get a pass rush with only 4 guys rushing without throwing a blitz out the whole game, that's just, you're going to win the game. There's no way you should not win that game.
They recreated the blueprint as we see now that the Buccaneers did a couple years previous against Mahomes and them, right? Rushed 4 guys, got immense amount of pressure, and also had Mahomes really flustered at sometimes he had ghost pressure. You know, there was no pressure. There was clean pockets.
And he was running.
But he was running or he was hurrying his process because he felt the entire pressure of the game, I would say, right? And then the O-line, I mean, the Chiefs blitzed 12 times, and the O-line only gave up 3 pressures. That was very impressive. I saw the interview with Lane Johnson. I think you've seen it after it was released after the Super Bowl, where he said, remember the shirts the Chiefs' offensive line was wearing when they won the Super Bowl against us a couple years back? 0 sacks. They wore it to the parade, remember, the 0 sacks.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson gave that speech and brought that back up to the defensive line the night before the Super Bowl. And you can tell it lit a fire in those guys, dude.
Wow. I mean, that just shows like the leaders the Eagles had on their team too.
Yeah.
I mean, who would even think to go look back that far?
Yeah.
You could tell, I mean, they were definitely a different type of motivation for the Eagles.
It was crazy to see. I mean, I loved every bit of it.
I mean, I called high scoring. I thought it was going to be a high scoring game, but
yeah, I thought it was going to be mid-scoring, but you were right. It was a up there game.
I didn't expect it to be just like an ass kicking though the whole game.
A blowout, a complete blowout.
Let's be honest, it was 40-6.
It was 34-0.
Yeah,
with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Everything else that happened after that was garbage time stats and garbage time points.
Yeah,
You agree?
Oh, 100%.
It was crazy to see.
The only person that showed up for the Chiefs was Xavier Worthy.
No, I have some. So I want to dive into that. I want to dive into the garbage time stats. And I don't think Xavier Worthy did show up. I think he did in garbage time.
Okay.
I mentioned to this earlier. With 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter, right?
Yeah.
There's 34-0 as a score. From that point on, Xavier Worthy had the greatest garbage time stat performance in a Super Bowl ever. At that point, before they scored, he had 2 catches for 9 yards.
Wow.
Everything else, the whole stat line, the 8 catches, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, happened in garbage time. So, yeah, it looked good. But when it mattered,
he wasn't there.
He didn't.
Him on parlay, so, you know, I enjoyed it.
So that mattered for you?
I enjoyed it. But, yeah, I mean, the run game was inexistent. I mean, did they even have 40 total rushing yards?
I don't believe so. I know Mahomes had 25, so maybe they did, with Mahomes adding his 25.
No, they didn't then, because neither one of the running backs hit double digits.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They really abandoned the run game, I'll say that. The Chiefs really failed to adjust. You know, we've seen it all throughout Andy Reid's career, Mahomes' career. When they are down, when they need to come back, they make the adjustments better than anybody at halftime, right? Make that adjustment, come back. Even in this season, we saw Taylor get benched a couple times because he wasn't performing. They didn't do any adjustments in this game. And I really put that on not only Patrick Mahomes, but a lot on Andy Reid for that, because Andy Reid has been the king at this, I would say so. And just really in the moment, they failed to make adjustments. Mahomes failed to manipulate the defense when he needed to and make the quick throws that we praise him on, the quick throws that we praise him on, just get the drive going. He just couldn't do so.
Yeah. And then another thing we called before the Super Bowl, we said, you know, we thought they had a good matchup for Travis Kelce. We went and mentioned that. We got a lot of hate for what we said they were going to do to Kelce. And then what happens? Kelce gets shut down the whole game.
He got shut down for the majority of the game. And then the times he was open, I think he dropped half the passes. They looked horrible.
They did. They got a pick early. We said they get that pick early, it's going to demolish them. It's going to haunt them, and it's going to get the defense going, and that showed too.
The exciting whites.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what they're calling them.
I heard that, yeah.
Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship. They're
whites.
calling them the exciting whites. That's hilarious because they're crazy, athletic, amazing defensive backs. Bringing white guys back to the secondary, which has not been a place for white guys in a long time outside of, Eric Weddle. That's really it.
One of my homeboys was calling Cooper DeJean our Jackie Robinson during the game.
It's kind of crazy. He got the pick 6 on his birthday. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Saquon, we can speak a little on Saquon. Kind of inexistent, but it didn't matter.
I wouldn't say he was inexistent because they kept running the ball. I think he played his role hugely.
They did get him involved in the passing game, which is something I thought they needed to do. Just keep him involved because the Chiefs have been good against the run for the most part. So getting him involved in the passing game was huge.
I think they played to exactly what they wanted. I think they wanted the Chiefs to focus straight on Saquon and limit Saquon.
Yeah.
Because all this did is open up the passing game for Jalen Hurts, open up the running game for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was efficient, 17 to 22 passing yard.
Almost a perfect game.
Almost a perfect game.
If you get rid of that pick,
the interception is a bad throw. He kind of throws it up there. That was one of the hurries they got on him. He kind of just threw it up there. They only had 3 pressures on him.
He's hoping somebody to make a play. Made a little bit of an underthrow, but almost a perfect game from him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was complete domination.
It was from start to finish, complete domination.
Yeah.
100%.
Loved everything about the Super Bowl.
Including the halftime show?
Loved the halftime show. I don't care what people say. That's top 3 halftime show of all time.
I saw that they were feeding in fake noise from the stadium because nobody was cheering.
I don't know. There's been videos from people inside the stadium saying it was loud.
Cassinet came out. He was like, that didn't happen.
He said Drake Dick Rider, though. We see the stream.
I think he's just calling it how it was like, hey, it wasn't live like that.
He hop on that, though.
Chill. But yeah, man, I mean, Mahomes, Worthy, they had some cool stat lines at the end, but it was all garbage time stats.
Yeah.
It was 34-0 going into the fourth quarter, basically. Just a complete, utter domination. After that, you saw the coverages back off in the fourth quarter. They were just like, keep them in front of you. Don't let them go crazy. I mean, it was over after the third quarter.
Yeah.
I haven't seen such a lopsided performance,
I want to say I'm coming for Pete Schrager.
Pete Schrager?
Yeah, he guessed the last 3 Super Bowls.
5.
He got it 5?
5, yeah.
Well, he got it wrong this year.
He got it wrong this year.
I got it right, though.
Yeah, he got it wrong because he picked the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I got it right, though.
Well,
I'm coming for your job, Pete Schrager.
You need 4 more in a row to get there. But you're on a good start.
Hey, 1-0. That's what
there
matters.
You go. There it is. I'm going to stay on Philadelphia, man. What can Philadelphia do to potentially repeat next year?
The big thing is finding someone that can keep executing the system at such a high level without Kellen Moore.
Yeah, we see he got the job in New Orleans.
It's great for Kellen Moore. I thought he should have got a head coaching job a couple years back when he had left the Cowboys. I thought he deserved a head coaching job. So, I mean, I'm happy for Kellen Moore.
College legend. One of the greatest college quarterbacks ever.
Amazing in college.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what he does with New Orleans. We'll touch on what I think is going to happen with Derek Carr a little bit later on.
Okay,
the Saints.
okay.
But
I want to talk about the Kellen Moore as well because they have to replace this. They tried this previously when they lost Shane Steichen and the offense was stifled. They promoted from within and the offense was lackluster. I think Sirianni ended up calling the calls, but the offense was lackluster. They gave it to Kellen Moore this year, and you see where they took it, right, with the addition of Saquon and others. But I want to give out a couple names that we could potentially look for. They could hire within. There's a guy named Kevin Patullo, who's a passing coordinator, who was really, really good. He's on the rise. I hear a lot of talk about him being on the rise, and he's potentially going to be not a coordinator for these guys, somebody else in the next year or two, okay? And there's also the Will Stein from Oregon. He's our offensive coordinator from Oregon. I would love to see the Philadelphia Eagles go out and potentially be aggressive and hire this guy. We know the Oregon offenses. They're always explosive. He comes from a great tree with Dan Lanning's tree. I mean, I think that'd be a great hire.
That'd be a great hire. I mean, you saw kind of how Oregon played this year. You know, they were efficient in the run game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really executed the passes amazingly this year. So you're going to get an OC that can maybe even take how he took Dylan Gabriel to the next level, Jalen Hurts to that next level passing also.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the last step of Hurts, we would say, right?
You put Hurts if you can get him to where he's a top 5 passer.
Where it's scary.
He's very scary.
Yes. He's already an amazing winner.
Yeah.
Maybe the best winner. He has the highest winning percentage as a quarterback, 50 starts or more. I mean, he's an amazing winner. He gets the job done. He's already elusive.
It seems like he gets the best out of everyone around him, too.
Yeah,
he's just
great leader.
Great leader. Just a dog.
I'm happy to see a guy like that win a Super Bowl finally, you know. Just the story he's had, man. The Jordan brand fits him well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been a winner everywhere he goes, and it's like he's got hate everywhere he goes, too. I've never understood it.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I think sometimes when people don't understand it, they will hate. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, Lamar gets so much praise and has never won anything.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts gets so much hate, and all he does is win. It doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't make any sense to me. We get a little bit of criticism to Lamar, but to be fair, he's a regular season merchant
Yeah.
at best, right? We like to praise the guys who make it happen when it matters the most, because that's what all
At the
all
end of
these
the
guys are
day,
playing for.
When 20 years from now, no one's going to care if you didn't win a ring.
Yeah, they're not. They're 100% not. You might break all these rules, break these molds, and that's great. You're pushing the position forward. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what you do is legendary. But if it stops in the regular season and you're just regular in the postseason, it really doesn't matter.
No, like you don't hear anyone talking about, man, I miss Phillip Rivers. No, couldn't get the job done when it mattered.
100%. What are some offseason moves the Philadelphia Eagles can make? Man, I got a couple offseason moves the Eagles can make. First off, they got to retain key guys, man. They got to retain Zach Bond.
I was going to say, yeah, Zach Bond.
Mekhi Becton, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams. These guys all performed amazingly. Mekhi was performing great. He got hurt in the Super Bowl. But these guys all were valid contributors to this Super Bowl run. You got to retain these guys. I think they have about $25 million in cap space coming up. They might use all of it to retain these guys. But if that's the only thing you can do, that's great. I think you need to do that and maybe make one move. What are some guys in the offseason that you think they could pursue?
If you lose Zach Bond, see if you can get Dre Greenlaw on maybe a cheaper deal. Coming off injuries, a little bit aging.
I like that.
Maybe he can slide in there pretty seamlessly and see what he can do for you. Or, I mean, that's my big guy for. I think they got to keep their guys.
Yeah,
Becton and Bond are my top two. I think with those edge rushers, you can lose one just because of how good that GM is over there.
Yeah, draft one.
And Howie Roseman, you can draft one, or we see him make deals. Go get people. Go get Myles Garrett.
Yeah. If not Myles Garrett, I mean, if you can't, that might be unrealistic, the Myles Garrett one. I mean, I would love to see it, but maybe in Azeez Ojulari, he's coming up on free agency.
And the only thing that scares me with that is the in-division trade.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Saquon. I mean,
that wasn't a trade.
I mean, it was a free agency. They let him go to it.
Yeah.
But no, Ojulari's coming up on he's going to be a free agent.
He's going to be a free agent
He's gonna
this
be a
year.
free agent.
So, yeah, we lost him.
The Cowboys have a Digizua, whatever you say, a Digizua. I think that'd be a small pickup who could fill in a role and play a good position, just like the Milton Williams did, just like the Josh Sweat did. There's a guy I really want the Eagles to go get for receiving core wise, because they don't have somebody who can really, really take the top off of defense. Smitty does a great job of doing so, but he's a burner, but he's not a true burner. Right?
Yeah.
I want to see them go get Nick Westbrook and Keeney from the Titans. I think he's going to be a free agent this year, and even if not, trade for the guy. We saw him have 9-10 touchdowns, and they were mostly deep balls. This will take the offense to another level. You have multiple levels with Saquon, AJ, Smith, and a decent tight end. I think that would be a great pickup for them at a small price.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dotson could fill that role for him. I mean, we saw it later in the playoffs. Dotson was taking the top off. I mean, if I'm the Eagles, I'm really focusing on retaining. If you can keep that core team together that just walked through the playoffs, it seemed like. I mean,
outscored their opponents greatly in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get those guys back, who says you can't go do it again? I think the biggest problem for them is going to have to be replacing Kellen Moore and making sure they get Zach Bond back.
Zach Bond?
Zach Bond is huge for their defense.
He was huge. He was a special teams assassin, basically. He was a great guy on special teams for most of his career. And they took this guy, gave him a chance, and it paid off.
Insane.
All pro.
But, I mean, if they do lose him, we forget they do have Nakobe Dean.
Do have Nakobe Dean. He did get injured, and they can always draft more.
And he was playing great before he got injured.
And it's Howie Roseman. I mean, they're gonna make something shake. They're gonna get a free agent acquisition that will make a big difference.
And then, like we said in the draft, they're probably the best drafting team in the NFL.
Yeah,
100%. Just go get another Georgia kid. It works for him.
So we're gonna pivot here. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes a little bit, and then what does the Super Bowl do for his legacy?
For me, he still stays where he's always been for me. He's still in that 2 spot.
Okay.
I said before in the last podcast, he will never overtake Brady for me, and this just solidified that even more for me. Brady never got blown out.
No.
Not even in the Super Bowl. He never got blew out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now we've seen him get blown out twice in the playoffs and once to Brady.
Yeah.
Mahomes, I don't think will ever be able to catch Brady, in my opinion, unless he goes out and wins 10.
I think if you win 9 or more from Mahomes, I think we give it to him unanimously. I'm with you. Even one more Super Bowl victory, it wouldn't do it for me personally because you have lost to this. He's kept you from 2.
Yeah.
You could potentially have 5 Super Bowls right now, but you got stopped by the man who is the GOAT.
Twice.
In everybody's eyes,
At the end of his career.
At the end of
you
his
didn't even
career.
catch him in his prime.
Yeah. So these 2 losses, 2 of the most horrible losses we've seen in Super Bowl history, right, on Patrick Mahomes' resume. And these things are going to stick. Is his greatness really a product of Andy Reid's greatness, his scheme, his coaching? Do you think it's really relying on that? Do you see him with another coach being this productive, have this success?
I think he'll be great wherever he goes. Same thing.
Great to this level, though?
Yeah. I mean, we saw it with Brady. He was still amazing.
But he's not Brady, though.
That's true. But, I mean, you got to think, too, Reid couldn't get the job done with any other team either.
I mean, he got to a Super Bowl before.
But he couldn't get it done.
No, but he did have that same team, Kansas City team, in the playoffs with Alex Smith, won 11 games. It wasn't – Patrick Mahomes elevated that.
Yeah.
But I really think arguing they could have drafted 2 other guys within that year or 2 span, and they could have done the same thing.
I'm not going to discount Mahomes' greatness like that. I'm going to say wherever he goes, I mean, he's still going to be a top 5 quarterback. I mean,
I'm not saying he wouldn't be top 5. Is he going to have the same success? Does he have 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowls, 5 appearances?
I mean, he may not have as many Super Bowls. I mean, we could say that with almost
You
every.
can say this with Brady. You can say this with Manning. When the scheme wasn't
say with
right,
Aikman.
I'm saying when the scheme wasn't right on the field, they made the adjustments.
Yeah.
Pre-play or the next play. Their level of attention to detail, the film study, they knew what was happening as it was happening and knew how to adjust. I haven't yet to see that from Mahomes in big games where he gets like blustered. He just doesn't know what to do. I think that's 2 levels of greatness that we're comparing too closely.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Brady, I think, is a complete level above Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I will say Mahomes is closer to that echelon of Montana, Manning, closer to those type of guys.
I like that.
But I still think another team, he probably has at least 1 ring right now. I would give
maybe
him 2.
Yeah,
I'd give him
give
2.
him 2. Yeah.
And I think he has probably 3 MVPs. I think he has another one if he's on a different team.
Because he has to do more.
Just because he'll have to do more.
Yeah. I want to talk about I want to shout out my boy CJ real quick. I know this is a real pivot, but Mahomes faced 38% of pressure, right, in the Super Bowl. And we saw what that looked like out of him. He had 1 touchdown in pressure, that big heave he threw down.
Great ball.
It was a great ball. Right in the moment of pressure, like they're in his face, just chunks it, lets it go. 38%, and we saw his results and how it looked. He just looked flustered because he averaged around 23% high pressure, which was a high pressure this year. He got about 23% pressure on him. When he hit that 38 to 35%, I would say he folded, right? We have a lot of younger guys, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. They have been productive this year, facing 35, 38, 40% pressure, averaging throughout the whole year. Are we too hard on these young quarterbacks and give guys like Mahomes too much of a, you just have a perfect situation, I feel like.
I don't think we give him too much credit. I think we do tend to not look at the full picture of the team and the game when we judge a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back and look at the Stroud Chiefs game this season, Stroud was playing a great game until the Chiefs got pressure in that second half.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young, the first half of his career, he has no time ever to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Second half, the O-line improves in the second half of the season, and look how great Bryce Young plays. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it than just the quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like you can see some things, though, with certain people. I'll say Bryce Young just had a crazy development in the second half of the season. No one saw coming.
The benching did him good.
Yes, he learned. I think he kind of learned and humbled himself maybe even a little bit more.
I think he just attacked it. I think he kind of just this is what it is. This might be my last shot as a starting quarterback. I'm just going to go out here and ball.
Yeah.
I've done my preparation. I saw a lot of good things from Bryce Young towards the end of the season. I want to say this, though, about Patrick Mahomes. When he's pressured, he looks a lot like Dak Prescott to me. 100%.
I can see where you're drawing.
He doesn't look he's mobile, will chunk down a lot, get it out quickly, will make a lot of bad throws, poor placement. I'm not a Mahomes hater. I respect the greatness, but I do think he's very overhyped, and I think his situation, it has been nearly perfect for the last 4 years for him.
Yeah, I want to see him with this second phase, which I think starts next season with the Chiefs. Kelsey, we finally saw a decline from him. Andy Reid's getting up there. I'm ready to see how Mahomes can translate to the second phase of this Chiefs so-called dynasty and
Yeah.
see what he can do, maybe without Andy Reid if he retires or without a Travis Kelce.
I'm really looking forward going forward if teams are going to copy this blueprint, copy and paste it when they face the Chiefs and they face Mahomes. And can he adapt?
I think they'll adapt perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you still do have one of the best head coaches of all time in Andy Reid.
Right.
You do have an elite level quarterback. I don't think you can just throw this at them with any team. Plus, you got to think who else has a D line that can go cause pressure like the Eagles too,
Maybe 3 teams.
or a secondary that can
They have both. Yeah, they
block
have
up.
both.
I mean, yeah, they had a perfect defense for this.
They're
Just-
going to have both.
I feel like they did kind of set up their defense around that Bucks defense.
They only ran cover 4 10% of the entire year. The Eagles, I'm alluding to. In this game, they ran it 55% because they were able to get this 4-man pressure the entire game.
I mean, if you can get 4-man pressure a whole game like this against any team, you're going to have success, not just the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they played a guy that can't handle pressure worse than Mahomes. I mean, played the Lions like this. We saw Goff cannot handle any pressure.
Yeah.
Saw it all season.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine they did that, and they played the Lions and they did that. What that score could have looked like could have been even worse.
Yeah, true. All in all, it was an eventful year. It was a good Super Bowl. For me, it was. For a lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I
loved
hated
it.
to see a three-peat. I think they got humbled. I think they probably Chiefs overall will probably come back better than ever, realistically. Will they have this level of success? I don't know. But I think this is good for them and good for Mahomes' career, a pivoting point. Just turn it up to another level because at the end of the day, he's a legend. You know?
Chiefs fans, try not to be so angry, man. Y'all got 3.
Yeah.
You got more than his favorite franchise has in 3 years.
All right, man. Let's move forward, man. We got free agency coming up pretty soon, and we got some big names, man. We got some big names. I want to go over a couple free agents, man. Give me a couple of your favorite free agents coming up in this offseason and then possible destinations for them.
Yeah, I mean, I love free agency. I love it with every sport, basketball, baseball, football. It's so exciting. But I got T. Higgins probably going to be who I think is the top free agent.
Okay.
Most people will.
Most people say that, yeah.
Yeah. And a team I have them going to is the Chargers. They need that outside threat. With Lad McConkey just dominating from the slot, they're going to have a guy that is a true number one and has that outside guy, bigger threat. And I think T. Higgins fits that perfectly for Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
I absolutely love that. That's my favorite team for him to go to. I really want him to go there. He'd be a true number one in that offense. Take a lot of pressure off of Herbert, a lot of pressure off McConkey. They'll really be able to lean into the Jim Harbaugh style of offense. Everybody wants and thinks he's going to go Patriots because they have the bag to throw at him. Maybe the Commanders because they need another one. You got Terry. I don't think they want another number one, right? I think T. Higgins to the Chargers is picture perfect fit.
Yeah, I don't see the Commanders attacking another elite receiver like this. I mean, Diami Brown, you saw him blossom into a great receiver the second half of the season. Terry McLaurin finally showed, hey, I really am an elite level wide receiver one with a good quarterback. But yeah, I mean, I think Chargers is the perfect fit for him.
I love that.
You can still get paid. They got cap. They have a young, in my opinion, probably the second best offensive line in football.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can go see what Herbert can do.
It's really made up. You have no excuses.
No excuses anymore.
If you go get T. Higgins, I want to talk about Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward, we know he's probably not going to stay in San Fran because the tragedy that happened to him and his family, and he just has bad memory and PTSD, he stated, about staying there. So I think he's going to end up I have 3 places. Lions, Patriots are kind of obvious for everybody because Lions, they need some cornerback depth. I really, really want to see him in New York, though. I want to see him, the New York Giants, go get Charvarius Ward, kind of solidify their secondary and start building what they need to become a real prominent football team.
I would love that. My biggest worry going into this season, of course, you heard me say it so many times. I was so pissed Daniel Jones was coming back, but I hated our corner depth. I was like, man, our number one guy is Deontay Banks, and he finishes the season on the bench.
Imagine y'all go get, if he's there, you pick up a Will Johnson or a Travis Hunter and go get a Charvarius Ward.
Yeah.
Secondary is solidified.
I have us getting another guy in free agency for the secondary.
Okay.
But my landing spot for Ward was actually the Bills.
The Bills.
They need the elite end cornerback one.
That's a great.
We saw it in some games. They have the cap for it to go get that corner.
And they may be losing Russell Douglas.
They are losing. They're going to end up losing Russell Douglas, and you replace him with Charvarius Ward. You didn't just replace him; you upgraded Russell Douglas. That's where I think he'll go. I think he's going to the Bills.
Okay. Okay.
My next guy is Trey Smith.
Big name here.
Big name.
A lot of teams this guy could go to.
This, like I said, T is probably 1A, and this is probably 1B when it comes to big names in free agency. And I have a team that's desperate to get some winning in, and they really want to see what this QB can do with some time. Give me him to the Bears.
I like that. I knew you were going there.
Yeah, give me him to the Bears. Everyone wants to see what Caleb can do. We saw Daniels explode. We saw great promise from Drake May. Bo Nix had an amazing season also. Caleb was a little underwhelming.
I say overall, I actually like what I saw from him a lot, considering the poor coaching, the poor schemes, not building the offense around the kid, the amount of sacks the guy took, and still played positive football.
Yeah.
But I did expect a little bit more.
Yeah. And I mean underwhelming. And the only reason I think we find him underwhelming is, I mean, you saw what Jaden Daniels just did.
Yeah, I think
The guy,
comparison kills joy, you know?
Yeah, you take the guy right behind him, goes out and has the best rookie season ever.
I think he got drafted into a better situation and probably is the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
But let Caleb, let's see what he can do now.
Yeah.
He's got Ben Johnson, an amazing hire. My favorite head coach hire.
Yeah, the right one to make.
Amazing. You still have DJ Moore. In my opinion, he is a wide receiver one. I love DJ Moore. You have Romo Dunze. Who knows? You bring back Keenan, or you go get a guy like Keenan for that slot spot. You have everything there. If you just got to solidify that O-line, and then you can really see what you have at quarterback.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, man. I got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had a great year, in my opinion. Outside of a couple games, he played at the MVP level. I think he really earned himself a contract. Maybe not a long one, maybe not a huge one, but he earned himself a place on a team because teams need quarterbacks out here. As they do 5, 6, 7 teams every year are going to need a quarterback. I got him either going to the Giants, the Titans. I really, really got him going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He can save money on a quarterback. He can push the ball downfield. And he has a good enough defense behind him, like this Vikings defense, that they can win games and be in every game.
I have him going to the same spot. I
Steelers?
had him going to the Steelers, or if the Raiders don't like the QB class, I had them going to the Raiders with Pete Carroll. I don't think I put the Giants on there for mainly one reason.
Bias reasons.
I do not want Sam Darnold to be my quarterback. I know Sam Darnold had a great year, but I'm not sold. I said it from the beginning of the season, and then the last 2 games of the season were the 2 biggest games of his career.
Yeah.
He just didn't play good.
It was also his first playoff game ever.
No, it is true. Like, all these things are true, but
If you could get the same production out of a rookie that you could get out of him, like what he did last year or close to it, would you be happy with it?
if I could get a rookie,
If a rookie, you had drafted a rookie,
Mhm.
got that level of production, maybe a tier under, would you be
Mhm.
happy with that?
Yeah.
So why would you not be happy with him taking a cheaper contract for a Sam Darnold to take a risk on it? If you
because
think your team isn't
if a
happy with the
rookie
quarterback.
starts at that level,
Yeah.
there's only you assume he's going to develop and grow.
Yeah,
I think Darnold.
but
is,
you're also taking the risk.
yes. I think Sam Darnold.
We've seen it with Sam Darnold, though.
I think this is Sam Darnold. I don't think he ever will be good enough quarterback to get you a Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, if your quarterback's not good enough to give you a Super Bowl, then who cares how good your quarterback is?
True, but that's everybody's hoping for that. But
Yeah.
realistically, everybody just wants to be in the fight at the end of the year because you're still building the team.
Giants are going to get another guy. I don't think we're going to end up with a rookie.
I wouldn't be mad at Sam Darnold with the Giants, just because you have a quarterback whisperer and a head coach.
Yeah.
You have a Daboll who can really hone that skill and push it forward.
I just think he had the perfect system for him with the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell, and then you have the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, great tight end.
Amazing O line.
Yeah,
Christian Darrisaw.
well, he went out half the season. He was gone half the season, so he did face a decent
True.
amount of pressure. But overall they played really well.
Yeah. Defense kept him in so many games.
Yeah,
Too.
Brian Flores' defense, the way they
Yeah.
played. I mean, we overshadow Stephon Gilmore's addition, what he did for that defense. They really played really well.
I think that will be the best season of Sam Darnold's career.
that one.
I think that's his best season.
I can't argue against it because I think there's more to come, but it could be the best season of his
I think
career.
that's his best season.
Who else you got?
I got big safety from the Dolphins, Javon Holland.
Another big name.
Big Javon Holland.
Yeah.
I love Javon Holland, and I have him going to the Giants.
Of course
That
you do.
is our secondary guy I got. We need safety help. Losing Xavier McKinney was huge. That was the most upset I've been as a Giants fan, losing a player in so long, losing him and Saquon in the same offseason. It's bad. And then he goes out and has an all-pro year for the Packers.
I don't have Javon Holland going there. I don't quite know where. I would really like to see him in possibly Cincinnati, where I would, or maybe Buffalo. I think you guys do something else. I think you guys maybe drop a Jade Barron or something like that in the second round. Play that Brian Branch role or something like that. Maybe a second round safety, third round safety to fill your safety role. Would he be a good scheme fit? I think he'd fit good with you guys. I mean, he's a great player. I just don't see him going to New York.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him going there basically off the money.
Yeah.
And
Time to get paid for the guy.
yeah, I mean, it's time to get that check, and we have some of the most money to spend this offseason, and safety's a big hole. You see all these great teams have elite safeties. It's a big part of your defense.
They're, outside of the Mike linebacker, they're the orchestrator of the secondary.
Yeah.
They're very much in communication with the entire defense. They kind of set the flow from the top down of the defense,
And when the Dolphins' defense has been the best is when Javon Holland is healthy and helping orchestrate that
I mean, look at all
defense.
the teams. The competitive teams have great safety play.
Yep.
Gardner Johnson, Brian Branch, Kyle Hamilton. These are all teams that are in the playoffs. Winfield Jr.
Yeah.
All
Reed
playoff teams.
Blankenship.
All these teams that are in the playoffs. Great play from Bullock from the Texans. I mean, have strong safety playing the game,
Yeah.
Okay. You talked about a guy earlier I want to talk about a little bit here. He's a big name we're going to look at. We saw recently he's going to test the market most likely. Dre Greenlaw of the 49ers. I'm a very big Dre Greenlaw guy, man. Arkansas guy. Love to see it. I think it's time for him to step into that role. Injury kept him from stepping into that role to be I think he's ready for the main linebacker position. And I got him going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I got Dre Greenlaw going to if they don't make a move at least aggressively to get this guy, they need a tone setter in the middle. He is what they need. I could see him going to the Colts. I could see him going to the Chargers as well. But if I'm a team, I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to get Dre Greenlaw to set the tone for my defense because they're missing linebacker play.
I think you're going to like who I have Dre Greenlaw going to. I'm going to the Houston Texans.
Really? I got to hear this.
Y'all have Aziz.
Yeah.
Who's a straight crash out. He missed so many games because he just.
I mean, he is. He's an animal.
Yeah.
He's a very smart player, but he is like a hitman on the defense.
I still think y'all need an actual orchestrating true middle linebacker one.
Okay.
It's not Toa. And where's Christian Harris?
Where is Christian Harris? Where's Harris County, dude? Where were you last year? I was waiting. I was hoping. I was praising you. And
I think I heard it every week from you.
I was like, what is going on? Where is Christian Harris?
So I think that guy for y'all is going to be Dre Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw, and he has a connection with D'Amico.
Exactly.
I would love to see that.
It looks like the stars are aligning for y'all to go get Dre Greenlaw.
I would love to see that.
That's going to be my prediction.
I don't want to jinx it. To be continued on that one.
I do have the Cowboys getting a middle linebacker, though. I have them getting Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton to the Cowboys.
I think
it's time for him to get paid.
I think the Chiefs are going to roll with Drew Tranquil.
Okay.
As their main middle linebacker.
They have to make some moves.
They have to. And you got to keep some money open. And I think Mahomes, Kelsey's on the back end. I think Mahomes is going to want that true security guy for him.
Yeah.
Rasheed is coming back. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to have to throw some money at O-line, especially after you see what just happened in the Super Bowl. You're going to have to go get some
O-line. You're going to have to. And then possibly losing Trey Smith here.
Yeah, I mean.
Javon Taylor doesn't look like he's the answer at right tackle.
No, I mean, you got to. I think the Chiefs really do need to keep Nick Bolton, but I think if he does go into free agency, the Cowboys go get their guy. He's a Texas guy.
Yeah.
He's said in previous way back interviews that he would love to play for the Cowboys before the Chiefs.
Man, I really do like that. I think Dre Greenlaw or Nick Bolton, either one, that's a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys.
I think we're on the same thing here. The Cowboys got to go get a middle.
Got to go get a middle linebacker.
Have to.
All right, man. Let's go over the draft, man. Upcoming draft. We got some great players. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's loving to see. Can't wait to see compete at the next level. I want to go over some of the top prospects and everything, and then just a couple of the comps we have for these guys. What are some great comps for the upcoming draft prospects you have?
My number one guy in this draft is Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter.
I have him as my number one out of my big board over Travis Hunter. It's close, but I'm edging out with Abdul Carter, and I have him pro comparison. I mean, everyone's saying it around the league, analysts, everyone. He's the next Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, same college. Almost a spitting image of play style.
Yeah.
I think I like him a little bit more than I liked Micah coming out.
Micah also played more of like a middle linebacker, would sometimes go down to an edge rusher also with Penn State.
Abdul, I feel like he's a true edge.
Yeah.
Run, against the pass, whatever. I agree with you. He's my number one player in this draft. Yeah. I mean, a sure generational talent next to Travis Hunter. I feel like if you got number one, you got to take one of those two guys. Abdul's not a bad pick to take at number one.
Yeah. And then my pro comp for him, yeah, it's gonna be Micah.
Micah. Travis Hunter. I talked about Travis Hunter. I want to talk about Travis Hunter. A comp for me is a current player. He reminds me a lot of a current player that everybody talked about could have succeeded in college at both sides of the ball.
Before you say it, what side of the ball do you think he's gonna play?
I think he's going to play cornerback predominantly with a lot of packages in
With him at receiver?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot. I think probably 10 to 15 plays on offense every game, but I think he's going to come out as a cornerback. My comp for him is I have two right now. If he was a player playing right now, my comp for Travis Hunter would be Derek Stingley Jr.
I like it.
Derek Stingley Jr. will be my comp for him. Just a predominant corner that could play on the other side of the ball and be just a ball hawk regardless, will ball out. And then Champ Bailey. The Champ Bailey is a great comp for me when it comes to the cornerback side. And Champ Bailey also played some other side of the ball in college and could have played in the NFL. People argue. And I just really love the Champ Bailey comparison and the Derek Stingley comparison.
I
when
love
it comes
it.
to Travis Hunter.
I see it. I love it. My next player is going to be probably the most talked about player, Shadur Sanders.
Shadur Sanders.
Shadur Sanders. And you're either going to love or hate my pro comparison.
Okay.
I have him as a poor man CJ Stroud.
A poor man C.J. Stroud. Kind of mobile, knows how to manipulate the pocket.
Somewhat.
They do have somewhat the same arm strength. I think CJ has a little bit better arm strength.
And you see the same somewhat of turnover problems with him. Shadur more than CJ Stroud.
I think in the college too, CJ had a little bit of a turnover issue.
Yeah.
Outside of the last year, he kind of. I actually love the comp. You're saying that you're catching me off guard live.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all the similarities flashing through my head, and I actually love the comp.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, CJ Stroud. Yeah.
I have him as a poor man CJ Stroud or a rich man's Geno Smith.
Geno Smith is my comp for him.
That's right. But
I mean,
think
he
he's
is
perfectly right there with both
right
of them.
there.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of a CJ and a Geno. But Geno's more of my take for him.
I like the CJ just because he is a little bit more mobile when he has to be. He can move around in the
I'm not
pocket
mad
if he
at
has
it.
to.
I like the comp. Cam Ward, we're going to talk about quarterbacks here. I'm going to talk about Cam Ward. I see a lot of comparisons, a lot of guys here. But my comp for Cam Ward is Ben Roethlisberger, a little bit of Patrick Mahomes sprinkled in there. Just a damn gunslinger, dude.
Yeah.
He sits in there and throws it, takes a lot of risk, but he has the arm to take all the risk. He is a little more mobile than Ben is, but Ben was mobile. We forget. It didn't look
Ben
pretty.
Could move.
He could move for a big guy. He's not as big as Ben, but just the way he sits in the pocket, the way he throws the ball, the risk he takes, the live arm, the angles, just reminds me so much of Big Ben. And then the improvisation in his game that he does have is where I see the Mahomes coming in. And Mahomes does take a lot of risk. He takes a lot of risky plays. I see a little bit of Mahomes, a lot of Big Ben from Cam Ward.
I really do like that comparison. I was trying to think of a comparison for him, and I really couldn't stick with one player, really. I mean, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I kind of like where you're going with it.
Yeah.
I think mine pro comp for him more or less was kind of a Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I liked the Justin Herbert, big arm, will let it fly when he has to, and that can move.
I've seen a lot of Jordan Love comps, and I can kind of see it because the way they are back on their feet, and they have a weird long arm that's live and can make a lot of angle throws. I see that as well, but I really do favor the Big Ben a little bit more coming out of college.
Giants do go get a QB. That's the guy I want.
Cam Ward?
Cam Ward.
I like it.
My next guy's going to be Emeka Egbuka, my favorite receiver in the draft. I love Egbuka. Route technician.
Yeah.
Can run every route. And, I feel like so many Ohio State games at the end of the college football year. I mean, we watched the Oregon game. I watched the Texas game. And then, of course, the Natty. And it seemed like he was always open in all those games. And it reminds me of a Chargers Keenan Allen.
Chargers. Oh, I love that. I love the little bit smaller than Keenan Allen, body size wise, but
They're about the same size.
not much though. Yeah, it's really not much. Maybe an inch and a couple pounds, right? And then I didn't even think about this. I was leaning towards more of a bigger Almond Raw, St. Brown, but I think I like this a lot more.
Oh yeah, I mean, we saw it. He can run every route in the route tree. He's going to line up majority in the slot, and he's not going to drop passes either. He's going to make the catch, and if he has to go up and over someone, you don't see it very often, but he can do it.
So Keenan Allen is a comp for Emeka Egbuka.
Yes,
I love that. That's a great comp. One of our favorite players this year in college football, who me and you thought should have won the Heisman over Travis Hunter. I know I did. I don't know how you felt about it. Ashton Jeanty. I want to talk about Ashton Jeanty here. We see a lot of the comps. People are saying Alvin Kamara. little bit of Christian McCaffrey. I've even said Emmitt Smith, but the guy he is tried and true compared to flawlessly is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Wow, and I know that's big from you. You're a huge LT fan.
Huge LT fan. I mean, this guy can do it all. LT could catch like this guy. They're the same size. LT is an inch bigger. The way they play, the way they run the ball, the vision, everything, the speed, similar speed, cutbacks that really just get up and go. Can make guys miss and can leave them in the dust. I think LaDainian Tomlinson is a great comparison to Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I love it. I haven't heard that one yet. So, I mean, I like it, though. I think that's the best one I've heard yet. So, I really do.
If he can throw the ball like LT could, it's the full package.
Yeah.
It's LT 2.0.
My next guy is the guy everyone has is wide receiver 1, Tetairoa McMillan. And my pro comp for him is going to be Drake London.
Drake London. Great comp.
Same size.
Yeah.
Like the exact same size. It's kind of crazy. Almost the same player. Has had problems creating separation. Does have the next level speed. Will catch the ball over anybody and put you on the You Got Moss set. I mean,
I've seen the AJ Green comp, but I do favor this Drake London comp a lot more.
Limited in routes. I think he's not the best route runner yet, but we saw Drake London evolve into a pretty good route runner. So that's my pro comp for him. It's going to be Drake London, and I think he's going to be great in the NFL, though. I really do.
I really want to see. I do have questions about this guy just because we see receivers hit or miss so much. I mean, from the Denzel Mims to the Jalen Ragers, the guys who dominated in college, we just don't know. And Drake London has showed promise in his early career, but this year he really took off.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not a bust. He's actually a hit, a late bloomer, a sleeper is what we call it. I think he will be a great player, hopefully eventually, but I do have some questions. As you said, he has some holes in his game.
Yeah. Another guy I kind of liked comparing him to, I ended up going with Drake London. I've seen Drake and T. Higgins. I actually liked him compared to Nico also.
I like that a lot, actually.
Another same size guy.
Yeah.
Can go get the deep ball and does have that next level speed.
Does have that next level speed and has developed his route running. If he can develop like that, the separation Nico gets now, if he can do that as well.
He could be on the same level as those guys.
Yeah. Top receiver in the league within 3-4 years, you know. Let's talk about a little bit of safeties here. We got a couple safeties coming out. I want to talk about Malachi Starks. We've seen a lot of comps for him. I'm really favoring Jesse Bates as a comp for him right here. I like the Kevin Byard comp as well, but really the play style, the size, and everything, he really is reminiscent to me of Jesse Bates. And I feel like he has that big playability as Jesse Bates does, can take the ball away, can really turn a game around, and lead a defense from the top down.
Yeah, I mean, how Jesse Bates has always kind of been more of a ball hawk type of safety, in my opinion. I see the same thing with Starks.
Yeah.
He's been an amazing safety, probably the second best safety in football this year. You know, if Caleb Downs just wasn't so good at
just on a whole other level.
Yeah. If Caleb Downs was available this year, he's a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah.
But
100%.
I mean, yeah, Malachi Starks, I do like that comp a lot. I really do like the Jesse Bates comp. I lean a little bit more towards the Kevin Byard comp a little bit more, but I love the Jesse Bates comp.
Good.
My next guy is I love. I think he's a better corner than Travis is, and that's Will Johnson.
Just a shutdown guy.
Shut down, 6'3", 205.
I know where you're going with this one. Maybe surprise me here.
Christian Gonzalez.
Wow, you did surprise me there. I was going to go with the PS2, but actually, if I think about it, the game, the play styles, the size, everything, I really like that a lot.
I'm not comparing anyone to PS2.
He's very reminiscent of me at PS2 in college. I went back and watched a lot of film because I saw the comp and I watched a couple like highlights and some games of PS2s and then compared. Really reminiscent too, but I do love the Christian Gonzalez
I love
comp.
the Christian Gonzalez comp. Same size. They're projected to have almost the exact same pro day. Plays a majority man. Over 70% of his snaps, he's going to line up in man. And he just takes out wide receiver ones.
Yeah.
I mean, what did Ohio State do in the passing game against Will Johnson? Nothing. Will Johnson, I think, is going to be an elite corner.
They lost that game. You could arguably say great defensive play overall, but just took away weapons right to from the start.
Away. We haven't seen the Ohio State receiving core get shut down like that all season.
After that game, I was like, oh, Ohio State's may not make the playoffs. If they do, they're going to get – that's the answer right there. They won't go far.
Yeah.
And nobody was else replicated outside of Will Johnson.
No. I think he'll be an elite level cornerback one first year in the league.
First year,
kind of how we saw with PS2, Sauce. Those type of lockdown guys.
And Gonzalez would have been too if he didn't get hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, those lockdown guys translate so much easier.
Easily.
Those ball hawk guys, you know.
Is cornerback the best hit position when you know at college level? to the next level almost? Like
Um,
the ones that we know, not the ones that we think are gonna be good, like the J.C. Horns, which he has panned out decently.
yeah.
The Joey Porters, maybe like these guys have hit, but there's also been a lot of misses, like the Caleb Farleys that went to the Titans that we thought were the guys that we know are top 5 cornerbacks. The guys that get drafted top 5 cornerback position are they almost always hits.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I mean, Stingley hit, Gardner hit, PS2 hit. It
Yeah.
tracks.
It does.
Gonzalez. I mean, we're seeing it every year. These top guys, it's like you see them in college, and it's they could translate. They go play there right now.
Quinyon Mitchell, he didn't go top 5, but in a weaker draft, he goes top 10.
Oh yeah,
easily.
everyone was saying he was the number 1.
I thought he
quarterback,
was going to
too.
go top
Yeah.
12 easily. All right, man. One more guy I want to talk about is the Penn State tight end, Tyler Warren. Really big fan of this guy. I love the way he plays, the grit he plays with. And my comp for this guy, I like the Dallas Clark comparison, but I really, really like Tyler Warren favors to me Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, I mean, as a Giants fan, that's who I see.
I mean, just the play style.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the hair does it to me. It just
I think it's the grit. They have a little bit of grit
yeah,
when they get the
just
ball.
the attitude.
Yeah,
It's just the Jeremy Shockey. It's like deja vu when I watched him. I was younger when I watched Jeremy Shockey in his prime and everything. I was around 10 years old, 12 years old, when really football formed on me really heavily, watching on a TV wise, and I just see it. It just it's clear as day to me. He's like Jeremy Shockey 2.0 evolved. you know?
yeah. That's my pro comp for him too. Is Jeremy Shockey. He's not even my favorite tight end in this draft, but I love him. I like Loveland a little bit more out of Michigan.
Yeah.
And then I think Mason Taylor. I know he's not on here. He's projected to be like a day 2 or day 3
I think
guy.
if he goes to the right situation, he develops
Mason
amazing.
Taylor is going to be amazing.
Look out, Mason Taylor to the Chiefs.
Man, Mason Taylor is going to be amazing.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's pivot on. Let's go. We got a couple things coming on. We got a couple quarterbacks in this next year. We want to see some things from, and that everybody really wants to see some things from, including their team. QB's on the hot seat in the 2025 NFL season. First off, man, let's start off with none other than Trevor Lawrence. He has a 22-38 win-loss record. Has some regression. We know we see the injuries, but I really believe Trevor Lawrence is on the hot seat here, and he has to make some things happen this year for the Jaguars to feel prominent about not potentially looking to draft another guy in the future.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on this one. I'm a big T-Law guy. You know that. I love Trevor Lawrence. I think he finally has some more weapons over there to really show. Brian Thomas Jr. is a wide receiver 1. Tank Bigsby and ETN back there, that's a good combo to have back there. And you finally have, I think, who should be his best offensive head coach that he's had with Liam Cohen. I mean, he made Baker look amazing. I mean, Baker is amazing.
Yeah,
but
Baker's blossomed,
but
and growth is awesome.
turned that offense into a next level type of offense. And I'm expecting a big year from Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I think if he has another bad year this year, then that's going to be the sign that it's time to go.
Okay.
Guy I'm going to pan over to, I mentioned on him earlier. It's going to be Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
14-13 record with the Saints. Injuries have killed him.
Yeah.
Amazing start to the season. Very underwhelming second half of the season. I think Rattler's going to be their guy. Kellen Moore, you heard him say in the interview, Derek Carr is going to be a good wide receiver 1 for some team in the NFL. If I'm Derek Carr, I don't like hearing that as the Saints QB1. I mean, any team, you should say my team, but okay.
Olave is going to be a good wide receiver 1. What did he say?
No, he said Carr will be a great QB1 for some team in the NFL.
Oh, that's what he said?
For a team in the NFL.
Didn't
He
even
didn't
say
say
my
the
team?
Saints. No.
Oh, yeah.
I think Rattler's going to be his guy.
Bradley's the guy he wants to move forward with.
I want to ask you, if you had to guess what his touchdown interception ratio is, what do you think it would be?
Cars?
Yeah.
3-1.
40-13.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's very confusing. So there's 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that are positive in all stats when it comes to pressure throws and pressure plays. Joe Burrow, no surprise.
No.
Justin Herbert, kind of a surprise. Derek Carr in the entire NFL. Surprise.
Yeah.
So, like, the stats are usually there. The leadership's usually there. I think it's just the big moments he kind of shies down from. But, like, when he's pressured, he usually performs. I just don't understand where it doesn't translate to success.
I think Derek Carr is going to get traded at some point before this offseason. And I think he's going to go to the Jets. I think he's going to have a better year than A-Rod had last year.
Okay. Well, A-Rod was ridiculous at the end of the year.
No, A-Rod was great.
At the end of the year.
But I think Derek Carr, not only is he going to be able to play better, I think he's going to be able to lead a little bit better.
Okay.
The locker room, the coaching staff, they got away from A-Rod. I think that's a great spot for Derek Carr to go. Then moving on from A-Rod, they have their transition guy they can roll with for Derek Carr.
Okay. All right. Speaking about Aaron Rodgers, I want to play a game. We're going to run through a couple games here towards the end of the podcast here. Blind ranking destinations. And we're going to start off with none other than Aaron Rodgers. You're going to blind rank these teams. All right. For Aaron Rodgers, Raiders.
Okay. Oh, I'm blind ranking.
Blind ranking Aaron Rodgers.
How many teams are
There's
there?
going to be 5 teams for each team. We're going to blind rank these teams for each individual I list moving forward that are going to find new homes in the offseason. Aaron Rodgers, first team, Raiders.
I have a one spot for him. I really want him to go, but I'm not sure. So I'll go Raiders 3.
Giants.
4.
Titans.
I don't think he's going to do
5. Rams.
1.
Rams at 1 for
I
Aaron
love
Rodgers.
him going to the
I love that
Rams.
as well. Steelers.
2. I
2.
like that one too.
Like that. All right. Matt Stafford. Raiders.
5.
Vikings.
2.
2. Giants.
1.
1. Steelers.
4.
Titans.
5.
5. All right.
Oh, 3. I
3?
said 5. I said
Okay.
5. Said 3.
Matt Stafford. Cooper Kupp. Broncos.
1.
Patriots.
3.
Steelers.
4.
Texans.
5.
Commanders.
2. Okay. That actually worked out how I wanted to. I really like him.
A big name here. Blind rank where Myles Garrett is going. Bills.
Two.
Packers.
4.
Lions.
5.
Commanders.
3.
Eagles.
1.
All right. Here's somebody we probably forgot about. We know he's a new free agent coming up. Deebo Samuel. Let's blind rank where Deebo Samuel's going.
I want to give you one real quick.
Okay.
Just so you can get some work in it. You're big on him.
All right.
I'm low on him. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold blind ranking.
Okay. Vikings.
2.
2. Okay. Steelers.
1.
Raiders.
4.
Giants.
3.
Jets.
5.
We're on the same level with that.
All right. Blind ranking Deebo Samuel. Patriots.
1.
Chargers.
4.
Broncos.
5.
Panthers.
2.
Commanders.
I wish I could put that at 3.
Because he's not a true number 1. He could go there.
No.
You know?
The only reason I took the other 2 where I did is he's going to get paid there. So,
Yeah.
You know,
All right. Kirk Cousins. We're going to blind rank Kirk Cousins here in his destination.
I didn't even think
Falcons.
of 5.
5 on the Falcons? You don't think he
Yeah.
stays in?
Penix has got that job.
Okay. You don't think he stays in the backup role at all?
No.
Nothing like that? Vikings.
2.
Back to the Vikings
I like
at 2. Okay. Steelers.
4.
Browns.
1.
Wow. You like that a lot?
like that a lot.
Jets.
I like that too. I'll take that at 3 though.
Jets at 3 for Kirk. That's a good one. I like
I
that.
do like the Browns though.
The Browns for one. I feel like, cheap
Yeah.
quarterback, professional quarterback can push it downfield. Possibly.
You'll get
Good play.
good play. It's crazy to say
with a great head coach.
Consistent after this season was not very consistent for him, but it's hard to get.
I looked into that. He was the second most pressured quarterback when he was on the field.
Yeah,
And he was coming off that injury. I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
it is. But yeah, I mean, you can't get more inconsistent than Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston.
I mean, you got to do better than that.
Yeah.
All right, last guy here, big guy here. I'm hoping to see him move around somewhere. I don't want to see him in Seattle for the whole career, kind of stagnant in his career. DK Metcalf. Let's blind rank where DK
Ooh, I
Metcalf
like
could
this.
end up. Raiders. They need a true number 1.
Yeah. 1.
Raiders 1 for
Pete
DK.
Carroll's over there too.
That's true. That's true. Cowboys.
5.
5. Chargers.
3.
Packers. You know, Josh Jacobs is talking about we need a
2.
real one.
2.
And then Patriots.
Yeah, 4.
4. Cool.
Yeah, I like those top 2 for him a lot.
All right. On this next game, we're gonna do buy or sell. I'm gonna have some takes here, and you're gonna buy or sell the stock in these things. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So buy or sell, Eagles repeat.
I'm buying it.
You're buying that?
I'm buying it.
I think I'm buying it too.
I'm
I'd
buying
buy
it.
some stock in the Eagles repeat.
I mean, I just trust Howie Roseman. I
Yeah.
mean, that's it. I
think they
Howie
retain these
Roseman.
guys.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go for 2,
Great
possibly.
chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that chemistry evolved from, oh my gosh, this team's falling apart, to, wow, they are like a family over there.
Yeah. So we're buying the Eagles repeat.
Yes.
Buying stock in it. Cool. Patriots make the playoffs. Buying or selling?
I'm selling.
Selling that?
Selling.
You don't
that.
think they make a big jump here? I mean, they're
Not-
in a division where they just got to win 10 games. Outside of the Bills, nobody's making the playoffs, really. It's up for grabs outside of the Bills.
I don't see it year one.
Okay.
Not with Vrabel year
Selling
one.
it?
Selling it.
I'm going to buy this stock.
Okay.
Stocks are risky. Sometimes we take a risk, and this might be one I'd take a risk on. Potentially a Patriots with the right moves this offseason, sneak into a playoff spot.
Vrabel does win games.
Exactly. Jaden Daniels MVP. Buying or selling? Buying it?
Buying
That
it.
fast?
Buying it. If I want to put money on it today. I love it.
I actually love it too, but not in year 2 for me. I would sell it this year. If it was 3rd year, after I see another year of like amazing play from this kid, I'd buy it all day. But I would sell Jaden Daniels
Putting so
MVP
much
next
money
year.
into that stock.
So you're buying, I'm selling the
I'm
Jaden
buying
Daniels
it.
MVP
Oh, I'm
2025
buying it.
season.
I'm
Okay.
buying it.
Buying or selling, Ben Johnson turns the Bears around year 1.
Buying.
Buying.
I think they have the roster. We talked about it this year that could sneak into the playoffs. Now they have a head coach that has brain cells. I mean, what was Eberflus even doing over there?
No clue.
You get a guy that's going to get the best out of that offense.
Build the scheme around his quarterback.
I love it.
I'm buying as well. I'm going to buy stock here. I think Ben Johnson makes a big turnaround for the Bears, and they're heading the right direction right off the track.
I think
year 1.
Packers might see maybe even a little bit of a fall off, possibly. And I think the Vikings definitely will.
Last but not least, are you buying or selling the Dallas Cowboys missing the playoffs?
Buying.
You're buying that?
That division, they're not competing in that division.
True.
The Eagles, I don't care what the fuck Dak Prescott has to say of we can compete with the Eagles. No, bro, you cannot compete with the Eagles. Jane Daniels is going to keep killing y'all for years to come
And
now.
if the Giants get their shit together, they could finish last in the division.
Yeah,
the Cowboys could.
It's like, it's crazy to see. It's like we could play a game, but it's more of a shit show. The Giants or the Cowboys. And
Yeah. I'm selling that all day. I don't think the Cowboys make the playoffs next year. I think they need to rebuild. They're not all the way in the rebuilding process. They have some pieces to spare.
I
But
think they need to jump into the full rebuild process.
I don't argue with it.
Got to delay the inevitable.
But I think you have
Quit
some
delaying
pieces
the
there
inevitable.
potentially. But I'm going to sell them making the playoffs next year 100%. Speaking about the Dallas Cowboys, man, what are some key moves they could make in this offseason? Some key moves they have to make in order for the Dallas Cowboys to be successful next year and the year after.
Okay. I'm going to name some guys I think they need to bring in to really boost it. Dre Greenlaw, Nick Bolton, Quishon Judkins, and then go get another receiver, Cup. I think Cup's going to be the guy. I don't like DK's fit there. I think you need more of that. You always see a very good combination when you have a great outside guy, what they do with CD, and a great slot guy.
CD also plays a lot of the slot, but I think he's stronger wherever he is, but I would like to see him more on the outside. He's a great slot player,
100%.
but he's not Devontae Adams.
No, he's more of a Jamar type of guy.
Yeah.
So go get a Devontae Adams. Go get a Cooper Kupp. Go get a Diggs.
I think they need to focus on running back, maybe a Caleb Johnson later in the rounds. And a receiver, they need a receiver. If you're not going to go pick somebody up in free agency, you go get a Bolden. You go get, a Golden from Texas. You go get a Bond.
Trey Harris.
Tez Johnson, somebody like that really.
Get Igbuka.
Or Egbuka if
He
he's
could
there.
fall right to your pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's
go
a pick
grab Igbuka.
you don't miss,
There's that slot guy.
I agree with you. Linebacker-wise, they got to make some moves. I like the Dre Greenlaw there. I love the Nick Bolton there as well. I think they do need to reinforce the defensive line as well. You got your guys who are getting older, and the guys that you did draft a couple years ago are not performing. It's time to draft another defensive tackle,
Yeah. Walter Nolan maybe in the second. Shamar Stewart. Landon Jackson.
Landon Jackson. Yeah, those are a lot of big names they could play right there. I like that a lot. Man, looks like we're almost out of time, buddy. It's been a great time talking this ball with you. Love the takes we had today. It's been another episode of the Fourth and Football Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.